sitting on a rainbow. Got that string around my finger. What a word. Hey, what a life. Hey, now. I'm in love.
Lou Dottoli is also a Jersey guy. So let's welcome Lou.
All right.
Hi, Lou. How are you?
Hi, everyone.
This
Pleased
is
to
so
be here.
great. I'm actually super excited about this.
Yeah, it's so good to see your face. It's been a while.
It has. No mask.
No, I know, exactly. No mask. So listen, today's all about Frank Sinatra, and obviously you sing so many of his songs. You're not an impersonator, let's get that straight. But you do sound a lot like him, and you embody him a lot with your phrasing and other things like that, as people could tell in the opening segment that we had. So tell me, did you ever get to meet Frank?
Funny story. I was almost kicked in the face by him.
What?
So I think that's pretty awesome. I bought tickets when he was performing at the Sands Casino in Atlantic City back in 1991. And I tipped the maitre d'. I didn't know what to tip him, so I tipped him a couple $100, and he put me right up front, like right there where Sinatra was standing on the stage. So he was stepping on my fingers. He could have anyway. I was snapping photos in his face, and he looked like he wanted to kick me. I still have those photos I took, by the way.
That's one of my biggest regrets, is that I never saw him live in concert. That is, I saw his son, Frank Jr. in a city, actually, and I cried the whole time. I mean, literally telling stories about Frank
Yeah.
and just incredible.
Of all things, I mean, you sound incredible. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Thank you.
But one of the things that I was curious was, why Sinatra?
Frank Sinatra had a unique ability to get across to his listeners exactly what the lyricist wrote down in the music charts. And that's what did it for me. It wasn't the sound of his voice, because honestly, I don't even think Frank Sinatra had a beautiful voice, because it wasn't beauty that I heard. It was the emotion that I felt. And that is why Frank Sinatra has fans that are young kids like I was, 18 years old, on up into their 90s until they die. And all over the world, in fact.
Right. Do you remember where you were when Frank passed away?
I actually was performing or getting ready to leave for a performance. And I can remember when I came home that day, I went into my studio and I turned the lights off. I lit a couple of candles, and I played the third album on his trilogy album. It's the most unlistened to Frank, but it was very foretelling about his death and how he wanted to go back to Hoboken and go in those old bar rooms that he used to sing in and play pool with his old friends and everything. And I listened to that, and I'm telling you, I wept a little bit. I must admit, I did.
Yeah.
But I don't try to sound like Frank Sinatra. What I do is I studied his voice with a wonderful vocal coach by the name of Lawrence Bogue, who has since passed. And we studied his breathing, his diction, his phrasing. And that is what I really worked hard on. So when people hear Frank Sinatra in my voice, they are hearing his style, not quite the sound of his voice, in my opinion, anyway.
Gotcha.
I'll be honest. I mean, Frank was a consummate showman, which is essentially what you're presenting to us too. But after seeing some of your work, you too are completely up there on that scale. You are a showman through and through, and can totally captivate an audience. You are incredibly amazing.
Thank you so much. I try very hard to captivate the audience, as you say, because the entire package needs to be portrayed when you're on stage.
let me ask you something. So
Yes,
recently, Sid Mark just passed in April
he
last.
did.
Did you ever get to meet him or work with him at all?
Quite a few times, in fact. Yeah, yeah. Old Sydney. It
Yeah.
started with a phone call. I used to call him on Fridays with Frank or Sunday with Sinatra because he lived in the Philadelphia area, as do I. Um, so we began a telephone relationship like that, and I saw him out on some occasions. I'm a member of the Sinatra Social Society. Can't say that too fast. The Sinatra Social Society. I provide entertainment for them. Twice a year we meet, and they're all over the nation. Members are, and Sid Mark, very good friends with the organization.
Wanted to also ask because there's a lot of people out there that have dreams of being in the entertainment business in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a
Mhm.
singer, actor, model. And I know you do have a history of modeling, acting, the whole work. So um, what's your best advice that you can give them when they're just starting out fresh?
I bought a blank book years ago when I started in this business. I've been doing it for 27 years. And I would write down things in this book that I wish people shared with me when I got started because I didn't know who to go to. I didn't know who to see, where to take voice lessons. Who do you trust? What kind of teacher? Who do I go to when I want to be promoted? I didn't know any of that stuff. So I had to start uh, singing for anyone that I could. And I didn't even know what to charge. I charged next to nothing in the beginning because I had no clue. I'm like, wow, people are giving me money. This is great. So I quit my other job and I've been doing this ever since. So yeah, there's a ton of advice that I would give to other performers. Find someone that can mentor you, someone who has been there, whether they've made mistakes or whether they've had success. They can still offer some great wisdom to you.
And thank you for keeping the legacy and all the emotion moving forward.
It is my pleasure, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Lou. Appreciate it. Great seeing you again.
Thank you, both of you.
Thank you very
Likewise.
much.
Bye.
Take care.
Wow.